guys, welcome to my channel. I'm Kristen and today I'm sharing with you guys some fun kitchen DIYs. I am super excited for these. They are so easy and I hope you enjoy them as much as I enjoyed making them. So let's get into the video. All right, so this first one, I'm gonna be making a fun little menu board. This chalkboard was from Walmart. It was about $3. And then this silkscreen transfer, they had some really fun, different options. They are discontinuing these folk art silkscreen transfers. They're from Michaels. I picked it up for $5, which I think is a killer deal for silkscreen transfers. But I thought a menu board would be super fun, and then I would just eventually have my kids fill this in. I do not have the best handwriting, no matter what utensil or what I'm using to write with. It's just sloppy, it's messy. So I thought this would look really fun, and it's small, and it will fit perfect in my kitchen. I'm using some bright white chalk paste. This is by Couture. You guys, I love using Couture, but I also love finding different types of silkscreen options. I've not been able to find a different type of chalk paste. I really just like the Couture, so I probably won't be using anything else other than that. And then I'm just peeling this away. You wash your silk screens out and you can use them over and over again, but this is what it looks like. I love it. Guys, this video is sponsored by Deem today. They sent me over their 4-slice metal toaster. It is a stainless steel and retro style. It is the DT640, I want to say, is what it says on the instruction manual. This is family friendly. So the first thing I did was plug it in and let's test this out. We've been using this for a while now and I'm obsessed with it. I love all the buttons and the features it has. It has a cancel button. It has a bagel and muffin defrost and reheat button. My husband is definitely going to be using that reheat button. I feel like every time he puts something in the toaster, he automatically walks away from it. Like, no, it doesn't take that long. But I love a lot of the features on here, and I'm going to show you guys a really fun DIY with this toaster. I know, a DIY. I'm using these flour tortilla shells, and I did cut them down a little bit to fit in the toaster, but we are going to be making some tortilla chips with flour tortilla shells. Like, I think this is super fun. It is such a great snack, and honestly, like, it's probably a little bit healthier for you, I would say, too, using tortilla shells. Maybe not. Don't quote me on that, please. I'm using the cancel button. I love that they light up when you push them. I just love that there's so many different features. So right here, I am just going to be cutting up my shell into little chips, and if you wait a little bit longer, they do get a lot crunchier. So there is 4 toasting slots, a cancel button, an extra lift carriage control lever. So it brings the toast close to the top. I did not know that when I did this, but if you actually push the lever upwards a little bit more, your toast or your bagel pops up higher, which I think that's great. I have young kids and they never want to take anything out of the toaster. So at least if it's high enough, they won't burn themselves, which I think is great. So you can add anything to these shells that you want. I'm using cheese, salsa, sour cream, and lettuce. Also, there's a defrost button, and the LED lights up when any of these buttons are selected. There's a reheat button and a browning control. So there's 7 browning levels of toast from light all the way to dark. There's a cord storage and a slide out crumb tray. So it pulls out clean crumbs collected to the bottom of the toaster. You guys, I think this toaster is awesome. I really thought I was really fancy having a 4-slice toaster. I know my kids are also going to love this just as much as I do because now I don't have to make their waffles one kid at a time. But you guys, if you guys want to check out this toaster, I will leave Deem's link in the description box below so you guys can check it out and have a 4-slice toaster just like I do. This next DIY is not really a DIY. I just decided to add some boxwood to this pitcher. It says $3.09, but it is on the Goodwill clearance rack, I suppose. So it was only $1.39 for this, and I already had the boxwood on hand. This DIY right here, I was really excited. This was $6.29 from Goodwill. Taters, I don't even like that word. It was really bothering me, so I picked this up so I could take that apart and sand it all down. This was the most disgusting piece I've ever worked with. I don't know what type of wood this was or what stain was over the top or what kind of issues, but I was sanding this down. I was the filthiest thing ever. Normally when I sand, I'm actually like the cleanest sander. Like even my husband will tell me all the time, he's like, I can sand and I'm disgusting and I'm filthy and you can sand everything and you're still so clean and you can walk in like nothing. This was this was so bad. I had to wash my clothes, wash my coat, clean my feet, like the whole thing. It, got hot, had to keep going. I was going to stain this. And then honestly, like the way this was it was so messy. I just had to stop sanding altogether. And I just decided to go in with some spray paint. So I love the matte spray paints. They're probably not the easiest to clean, but I mean, once you seal them, it's totally fine. But I'm just using an ultra matte white spray paint by Rust-Oleum. This is my favorite white spray paint to use. So I use this often, all the time. This was not the easiest to spray paint either because the wood kept going through. I kind of like some of the distress look, so I did leave some as is. Putting this back together, and I'm going to be adding one of those folk art silkscreen transfers to the top of this. I didn't want this to be anything specific. Like I didn't want to put trash on it. I didn't want to put taters on it. I didn't want to put onions on it. I'm just putting Farmhouse on it. I live in the country and I still think that people in my area enjoy Farmhouse. I normally just sell these items in a yard sale anyways. This one is really cute. I kind of want to keep this. I'm not sure what to do with it, but it looks so stinking cute. So I just added one of those silkscreen transfers top. It says Farmhouse because then you can add whatever you wanted to this piece. And then these little transfers are from Dixie Belle. I love their furniture transfers, I think is what they're called. I've used them in a couple different DIYs and projects and videos, but I'm just using these two little chickens and putting them on the bottom of this. And that is it for this. It is such a huge transformation with just a little bit of sanding. I would say a lot of sanding and a lot of spray paint. One, this was 79 cents from the Goodwill outlet, and I just sanded it down, and now I'm using the Waverly chalk paint in white to paint the entire thing. So I painted the front and I also painted the back. Now I'm using a different silkscreen transfer. You're going to see me use these a lot just because I think they look very high end when your pieces are finished. I actually picked this one up off Amazon. It came in a huge set of them. I will link them in the description box below if you guys want to check out these transfers, but I do not recommend them. My order was lost. It took almost 2 months to receive these transfers. That's why I really don't want... You know what? I'm not going to link it. If you guys want to look up silkscreen Farmhouse transfers on Amazon by yourself, by all means. But it was honestly worth the wait. They canceled my order. They refunded my money, and they came 2 weeks later. So I was actually pretty lucky that I got these for free. But I don't know. The quality of them is great. I just don't really recommend whoever shipped them to me. May or may not be their fault. I'm not sure. Anyways, dry brushing with the black around the edges to give this a little bit of extra something. I kind of go plain sometimes when it comes to my decor. I totally understand that. I totally know. But if you had this piece, what would you do with it? Would you paint it a different color? Would you, just let me know. Let me know what your guys' style is. I do not like changing what I am familiar with or what I like doing, because most of this is going to be going in my home anyway, so I love the farmhouse vibes. But I do like to know what other people would do with pieces that I purchase. So let me know in the comments below. Like, I got nothing against anybody's decor options or what they like. That didn't make sense at all. Let's forget I said any of that. I'm using these wood beads in the buffalo check, black, white, just to make a little fun garland over the top, or not even really garland, just like a little bead hanging piece. Those were off of Amazon, and I'll link those for you guys as well. You guys into Walmart. They had this really cute letterboard. It was $7.97, which I thought was a great deal for a letterboard, and I really like this. I love the color of it. I love the wood. And then I got on Pinterest to search for something really cute and easy to write out. Letterboards are not always my favorite thing. I used to have a weird obsession with them, and now it's like, oh man, I gotta like cut the words out, and it was just, I don't know, or the letters, cut the letters out and make them centered, and it's like a whole thing. But anyways, I think this is really cute if you're looking for a letterboard. I put self-serve only. I think that's perfect, although nobody really self-serves at home. I usually cook dinner. Next one is for your keys, $5.78 from Walmart. I've been eyeing this keys piece for as long as I can remember. I'm just going to be staining this. Nothing too huge, but I love this classic gray color. This is by Minwax. I use this all the time in my crafts and DIYs. The staining this was a little tricky just because there was so many like nooks and crannies in here. But yeah, that's all I did was stain it, and then I hung it on the kitchen wall right next to the door, because sometimes we never know where to put our keys. I usually put my keys in my coat pocket, and then I throw my coat and my keys are missing. My keys are actually always missing, so I think this will be perfect for our home. Apologize already for this pig clock. I totally forgot to show exactly what it looked like, but you kind of get the gist of it. It's a clock, and it needed some love. I did not want to keep it a clock, so I'm tearing everything apart. It came out and off very easily. This pig was, I thought it was going to be the death of me. I seriously did. This took forever to do, and you're going to see why in a second. So I tore all the clock pieces apart, threw those in the garbage. They were already kind of junk anyway, so I wasn't going to save them. Look at my sweet little pig's feet. These feet kept breaking off. I would sand, I would set it down. These feet kept falling off. We used wood glue, we used super glue, we used hot glue, we used all the things to try to keep these little legs on. And I think they fell off 3 times in total. So far the legs are on, but right now I'm just sanding this down. I was going to fill in the back. I chose not to because this is going to get hung up on a wall anyways, and you're not going to see the back, and sometimes I'm okay with that unless I went to sell it, and then obviously I would not want the back to look like that, but I did want to fill in that middle hole right there. So I'm just going to take some hot glue and put this little crafter stick in the center, so then when I flip it over, I can put some wood filler in without the wood filler just falling right through the hole. And this little pig was $3.09 from Goodwill. I did forget to tell you how much it cost, and if I did forget anything, let me know in the comments below, but I think everything was $6 and under that was from Goodwill, and then I think $8 and under from anything that was at Walmart, but I will let you know as I go on. And then I'm going in with my Ultra Matte White Rust-Oleum Spray Paint, and this is the paint and primer in one. I think that's really why I like it the most. This took a few coats for this pig, and then when I flipped it over to do the other side, it stuck to my spray tint. and then I had to sand it, respray paint it. I didn't show all that, but like I said, this pig seriously was just giving me a run for my money. So finally, once all that was done, this little pig tush right there, I had to sand that down, and then I decided to stress it. There's my little leg, fell off once again. Like I told you, this pig, I swear, I thought this was going to be like such an easy project, and it turned out to be the hardest and longest and worst project that I did. But the outcome is cute, so I'm not upset about it. All right, and once that leg went back on, I'm using another one of these folk art silk screen transfers. This one says Eat, and it came with two different ones for $5. Like I said, they were clearance, discontinued, or whatnot, but either way, I'm super happy that they were only $5. And I'm using the black velvet, or maybe it's just velvet, chalk paste by Chalkature, and I'm just going to be putting this Eat right on the center, and that is all I did for this sweet little pig. I love how he's kind of rough around the edges, and I just really, really like this piece. Even though you can see that the last part of the pig, you can see his leg was broke, but I think it gives him just a little bit of character, and I plan on keeping him anyway, so I wouldn't want anyone else to go through the dilemma and the tragedy of this poor little pig's feet falling off. My Walmart had a ton of new items out I was super excited for. I loved this long cutting board. This was $5.78 or $5.98, so it was just under $6. I'm using a Chalkature transfer along with another one of those folk art silkscreen transfers. I'm going to be doing these little pies with the eucalyptus chalk paste from Chalkature, and then you're going to see that I kind of started to cut things out, and I was going to do certain things, changed my mind. I'm still not sure if this is exactly what I wanted to do with this chalkboard, but I can always, not chalkboard, what is this called? Cutting board, but I can always flip it over. It says these are strictly for decor purposes only, which that's obviously what I'm going to be using these for. These little chalkboard tags were from Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to be putting hot and fresh on this and then tying it to my cutting board and adding a little bit of lamb's ear and adding this to the corner of my kitchen. And I actually really love how this turned out. Be using that smaller cutting board you can see in the picture. This one was $5.97, and like I said, I'm going to be using silkscreen transfers in a lot of these videos or a lot of these DIYs just because I love the way they look. So I'm going to start out using this Life is Better in the Country transfer, and I'm not sure exactly what wood this is. It's kind of a smoother, nicer wood, so I did have issues with this transfer just because I don't know, I feel like when you use bamboo or something, like sometimes your like Cricut doesn't work that great, sometimes this doesn't work, but I love how it was just a little bit distressed. Maybe I was going too slow with this, I'm not sure, but Life is Better in the Country. That's all I did to this because I'm going to be stacking it with other items in my kitchen. This DIY, I have had this spice rack for I can't even remember how long. I feel like it's been in the garage. I was going to get rid of it. And I'm like, no, I want to keep it. I got it from Goodwill. It was $209. And I figured, you know what, if I spent the money on it, let's just see what I can come up with. Nothing like super, super fancy, but I did just end up sanding it down and then filling these little holes in. I was kind of having issues with this wood filler for whatever reason. Maybe I didn't let the wood filler dry enough when I started to paint it, but it seemed to still show like a few little marks even after I sanded it down. But I'm just going to be filling those holes in, and then I'm going to be using the Waverly chalk paint in white to paint this. It did need 2 to 3 coats, because the wood color kept coming through. So grab a primer if you don't want to waste your chalk paint like I did when you're using wood pieces. Next, I'm using my Cricut Joy to cut out a label that says spices. Since this is a spice rack, I thought I would use one of these cute little chalkboard tags. And then if I didn't want to use it as a spice rack, I could just take it off. No big deal. I'm never 100% sure what I want to keep or whatnot. So I just use that with my Joy. I always forget how much I love my Cricut Joy. But you guys, that's it for the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please make sure you give this video a thumbs up. If you're new to my channel, consider sticking around and subscribing. Also, thank you again to By Dame for sponsoring today's video. If you want to check out their 4-slice metal toaster, I will leave the link in the description box below. But that is it. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.